Evening, Ramanji. How are you?
Yeah, doing great. How are you?
Good, thank you. I'm just waiting for a couple of more team members to join the call.
Okay,
Let's give it a few minutes.
sure.
Then we can get started. Okay?
Sure.
Where are you based out of, Ramanji?
I'm from AP Guntur.
Okay. Okay, good. So myself, this is Vidya. I head the India operations for IMN, and you'll be working closely with me. In the panel today, we will have Natesh, an architect, join us, and possibly Sanita Akavaram, who's a software development manager, and she's based out of New Jersey.
Okay.
Natesh and I are based out of India.
Okay.
Gonna give them a few minutes because we typically don't do Zoom meetings. We do take the meetings from the team, so they might have to register and select and all that stuff.
Sure. Hi, Vidya. Morning, evening.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey,
Hi. I'm sorry. I just wanted to check if all good and if Raman has joined us. I'll be dropping off now.
No problem. Akriti, you're based out of India?
Yes, I am.
Okay, cool. Then good evening to you too.
Thank you. So, quick thing, Vidya, I just kind of overheard that you guys do not use Zoom internally. So, would Teams be comfortable with you moving forward? I think
so. If you can do a Teams meeting, it's much
easier. Absolutely. That's
Yeah.
exactly what we are using at Includers. So, I think that should not be a problem. I'll do that moving forward.
Awesome. Great. Thank you.
Thank you. All the best, Ram. I'll just drop off now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. This is a 30-minute call. Let me quickly check.
Hi.
Hey, Natesh, I was going to reach out.
Yeah, I don't know, it was Zoom, so it was installing.
I know, that's what I was telling, Ram, but we don't do Zoom, so everybody's installing. Lucky for me, I just take the call from my cell phone, so.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I don't want to waste any more time. So we want to jump right in. Just to give you a quick update, Ramanji, or maybe I can address you as Ram. Right?
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, sure. So, we are looking for help of people to work on in our new product migration. We have a on-prem system that we are trying to migrate to cloud, native cloud architecture, so as part of that retrofit, we are looking to break down our monolithic code into microservices, and we need someone who's already familiar with all the patterns of the microservices and everything that comes around it, the bells and whistles that comes around it, so we don't have to worry about the technical training, right? The product knowledge we'll try to give you as much as we can. But to begin with, jump right into the architecture with minimal intervention. Right? That's what we're looking for. And Natesh is going to have some questions for you so we understand that you're the right fit for us and vice versa, right? So
Sure.
Let's just jump right into it.
No problem.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Over to you, Natesh.
Hey, thanks, Vidya. Hey, Ram.
Hi, Nitish.
Hi. So, I was just looking at your resume. It looks quite impressive.
Okay.
Yeah. So, can you just brief out your past in the sense what project you have done recently with more of a microservices ecosystem?
Yeah, it's a.
Yeah. Can you just explain what was your role, what you did, and just overview of architecture also that will help to move forward.
Yeah, the application which I have been working is a catering domain, and it was developed in different technologies in Pascal as well as Windows Service as well as MVC application. It is a combination of all the things, and we are trying to migrating from the legacy application as well as MVC from monolith. It's a kind of monolith application. Background we are using Windows Service as a job, and we have used the Pascal code, one of the application we are using to get the information from the different clients, which was very old. We are trying to migrate from that legacy application in terms of monolith to as a microservice. We are using as a .NET Core 5.0 and Azure Kubernetes services, and each module it's going to the separate database. It says we want to communicate with that application by using in terms of service bus to communicate with each other and to maintain the distributed transaction in terms of to compensation of the transaction by using insert of the based on the status or based on the some compensation record of the particular transaction. It's a kind of microservices application. I was working as a lead of in particular the product, which will take care of including of development, design, and including with discussing with the SMEs and to coordinate with the team members along with my individual contributor, I can say. It's not only part of that one. I am the part of Center of Excellence team to do the POCs of different things of the problem statements with the latest technologies with Azure and AWS, and to make this to showcase to the clients and to get it as approved and making as the final product of into the one of the module. It's a kind of I was involved in for all the phases of the design, development, and the CI/CD process as well, creating of the pipelines using ARM templates and deploying of an application to push the images to that container registry, getting the images from container registry to the Azure Kubernetes services, using as Azure Elastic to compare with the to track of what is the logs are pushing to the Elastic from Elastic to the Kibana. I was involving of all the phases, but yeah, this as of now, this is all the tech stacks. I was completed MCA from Acharya Nagarjuna University from Andhra Pradesh, and I got a quite much of appreciation, best employee of the year, best employee of the month, and all the things which was done, the innovative work of the client has more appreciated. Nadish.
So how much of the day-to-day coding and all that efforts you are involved in?
70% of the coding and 30% of maintaining the team members, because we the team maybe it is a new joinees and we need to do some kind of KT and other things.
Okay. So you worked on ASP.NET Core and all that?
Yes. ASP.NET Core 5.0.
Okay. So yeah. Okay. Hi.
Go ahead, sir.
So you said CQRS and all that, right? So can you just elaborate on that? What work you have done there?
Yes, the CQRS basically we have a concept of primary and secondary database. All the command it has to go to the primary database, and all the queries in terms of the select it has to go to the secondary database. I don't want to mess up of everything into the single database, and database is hung up and it is getting into the performance degradation, and we can segregate as the commands go to the primary and the queries is go to the secondary, and the primary and secondary will have that sync up on the given specific point of time by configuration in the cluster by the DBAs.
Okay. So you the API was in which technology or the pattern with .NET? Okay. So how do you segregate? How do you inject, or did you use some dependency injection for connection string, or how did you segregate that? Okay, this has to go into the read and this has to go to the write, right? So how did you do that?
Yeah, based on the we have an handlers. The handlers in terms of we have an interface implemented by the commands, say select command or execute command, object command of the model. Whenever we are trying to perform an operation of the model, it has to identify, it has to go to the primary database, and the connection string will come from the tenant ID. Whether it is coming from the database of the one table, and it will come as a connection string. It will go.
Okay. So it was something multi-tenant kind of
Yes,
thing?
yes, exactly.
Okay. So this everything was you said AKS, right? It was under the AKS you were running the applications?
Yes.
Okay. So you know how to Dockerize the application and all that?
Yes, by using Docker Desktop and Docker Hub as well as Docker. We are using Container Registry, Azure Container Registry, push the images by using the CI process, getting the images using the secret from CD process.
So what kind of maybe design patterns you might have chosen for inter-process communication between the microservices and all that?
Sega is the one of the pattern, and we can customize by using RabbitMQ also, like the compensation of the transaction and creating the, for example, request order queue and one of the order response queue, and we can able to segregate if something is happening on the receiver side, it will acknowledge it in terms of positive or negative acknowledgement. Based on the thing, we can change the status or we can accomplishment of the new compensation transaction. It will be able to positive or negative transaction to achieve like that.
Okay. So just a simple use case. So since you talked about multi-tenant, right? So assume that even I wanted to configure certain Azure infrastructure, like say Azure Service Bus or even database where it has to go and all that, right? Through for a multi-tenant. So just wanted to understand, for example, I logged as a tenant one, right? So once I logged as a tenant one, how basically you will make a decision that okay, this has to go to this particular maybe this particular database, right? Or it has to use this particular Azure resource, right? Now, how exactly, what way of you might be thinking or start coding or evaluating this?
Yeah, basically we can able to identify by using the JWT token. The token is an entry point, and in the token we have a claim of tenant ID. We can able to get that master database connection string, and based on the master database we can able to identify what is the tenant of a particular region or particular country. If you have the country is a master table, and we can able to save that what are the databases which is there in the particular country. I can able to save that number of transaction in a particular master database table as a connection. I will save only that master database in the application or the keyword services. Based on that thing, I can able to call the stored procedure. I can get that connection string as a in terms of encoding format. We have used custom defined encoding, not a base 64 encoding, to avoid that some kind of injections or some kind of security problems. This tenant ID, it will come from the token. Once the token is valid, then only I can go ahead with the database with calling the stored procedure, getting the transaction database connection string.
Okay. So, for example, right, if say in the access token or JWT token, if I embed tenant ID and all that, right? So once, because how do you inject? In the sense, I cannot go and put each and every method that tenant ID and all that, right? I wanted to inject it. So what will be a process for injection? Yeah,
we have a concept of HTTP context as a request object. The request will be able to get that what is the current once the valid the token, I can set as one of the items in the HTTP context that will be available only the particular request. It will not be available in the next request, because the token has to be validated each and every request. It has to be identified. It has to get the database. What is the connection string? Instead of otherwise, we have another approach to save that connection string with as a particular tenant ID underscore in the some catchy database or Redis cache or some other thing. Yeah, it depends on we have used as a requirement. It has to be get that connection string each and every time from the database itself. And we have the HTTP context. We will set an item of an object. What is the transaction connection string? What is an operator name? What is the time? And what is the permissions you should have, or basic permissions like that. This context will be able to active in the request. We can able to go to from controller to service or service to data access layer. This context will be available. I can able to inject that implementation of that particular class. Whenever it is a constructor, I can able to achieve it.
Okay. So you integrated APIs with Azure AD and all that?
I have used Azure API management. I know that one, but theoretically I know, but practically in professionally I haven't done. We need to create an application and we need to register that, get that secret and maintain that manifest file. We can do that one. Yeah.
So, what kind of patterns you have used during your project?
I have used dependency injection, repository pattern, factory, and singleton. That is the default thing which provided the framework itself. Like add singleton, it will automatically create as a single object like that. And the CQRS is one of the design pattern which has been used.
Which you have used. Okay. So you have knowledge on databases side?
Yes, yes.
Which DBs you have worked?
SQL Server.
SQL Server.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what all means knowledge in sense its objects and all that? What you have done there?
We have like it's as a developer, I have to do all the things in terms of creating the stored procedure and making an optimization based on the execution plan, applying the indexes and creating a temp table and table variable and CTs. It's a kind of it's not only for the high level. Like I was involved all the phases of the development of the database as well.
Okay, how do you look for the bottlenecks of the queries and all that with Azure SQL Server?
Azure SQL Server also we can connect by using the SSMS and we can able to find out profiler. But another thing is we have the concept of Azure Monitor in the particular Azure SQL Server. We can able to find it as Azure Monitor and trying to figure it out what could be the memory consumption or what could be the CPU utilization kind of thing. But we have used in terms of profiler to identify to get that execution of the query, to get that query and executing into the query execution plan, and we will get that execution plan, try to identify the cost of the particular query, how much time it is taking on which block, whether it is using the table scan or index scan, whether it is using the predefined functions, if it is taking more time like that. I try to identify what is the bottleneck of the particular execution plan and try to optimize that in terms of creating that additional indexes or non-cluster indexes and putting the where condition of the primary key column instead of non-primary key column if it is possible. There is no straight way approach of doing that one. We have to do some more analysis on our experience and find it out what could be the exact reason based on the query execution plan.
So you talked about query execution plan, right? You have idea on what exactly the index scan, index seeks, table scans, and all that?
Yeah, I have a high level. In depth, I can say in depth I don't have, but I have like how the table scan is happening, how the index scan, why it is not happening an index scan. Because
how do you optimize based on that?
Okay.
Plan.
Okay. Yeah. For example, if you can take it as a if you take a plan, if you are finding out that if it is executing as a table scan, we don't have a concept of indexing and try to find out where could be the exact result. The result will be saving the which chunk. We are not sure. It is trying to find out as a sequential one by one. If one chunk and next chunk it is going. If it is found, if it is not found, it is going to the next chunk of the data which is saved in the database. But if you are finding as in cluster index or index scan, it will use the binary tree to find out where could be the exact finding, and it will identify faster comparing to the table scan.
Okay. So in the CI/CD, I think your resume reflects the CI/CD also, right? What you have done there?
Yeah, pipeline configuration in terms of pushing the images and getting the images to the Kubernetes service as well as app service, function apps as well.
So how do you push the images from the Azure container to Kubernetes? You have any idea on that?
Yeah, to pushing the images to the container registry only and pull the images from the container registry to Kubernetes by using the secret. We need to create a pod secret and we need to use that pod secret and the Docker service connection and Azure Kubernetes names. And based on these names, and it will try to fetch the image from the container registry.
So assume that I have an application which is running under app services, right? So all my configurations, whatever it is there, right, it is in the keyword. Okay. So can you tell me on start of that web application, I wanted to load all the configurations of the keyword.
Okay.
So what kind of process you will do? Maybe I don't want to go with any. So you think that I'm going with a managed identity. So just tell me what you have to do over there.
Yeah, we have the concept of connected service. I can able to right click and connect the service of Key Vault, and it will be able to create a app configuration in the startup class, and it will automatically get the URL and the whatever the key. Whatever the key, the secret key, it will try to get that information automatically. We need to configure that app configuration on web application builder. Inside of application builder, app web configuration kind of configuration we have to give it. Otherwise, we have the concept of connected service. If we click on connected service, and it has to be identify that what is the URL of keyword which you are trying to use it. If we click on that thing, it will automatically create a configuration. But we have a concept of app configuration. It will automatically use the default credentials of Visual Studio and using the URL as well as whatever the key vault which we are trying to get that configuration.
So you heard of anything managed identity?
Yes. System managed identity and user managed identity. System managed identity, it will create a one of the application in AD, and whenever it is trying to connect with the other application, and it will try to authenticate by AD and getting the token, trying to connect with the other service which was hosted in the Azure.
Okay. So yeah, so Sunita, you have anything?
Can you? I don't know. Sorry, I joined late, but what kind of kind of give me a load on what kind of applications you took live, like any project that you worked on. You were a key player and that went live. What sort of load it was accommodating?
Yeah, it's a kind of the application which I was working with the app services and function apps and Kubernetes service as well. But it's a kind of load whenever it's a kind of festival season. It's a kind of the travel vacation season. It is going to be more. For considered as an app service or function app or Kubernetes service, we don't need to worry about whether based on the replica set, it will try to create another replica, or it will based on the services, it will try to create a number of pods based on the configuration which was set it up as a pod.yaml. But if you consider as an app service, we don't need to bother about it. We can set it as a auto rules, scale out and scale in properties. We can set it as a rule if it is a memory is taking as 80%, it automatically scale up the number of instance of a particular app service.
No, but just to give me an idea, what sort of production use was it?
Yeah, it's in
how many users? Is it simultaneous and peak? Do you have an idea?
Users, I can say it is a product which was used by our SMEs or our business team only. We have I can say it is 20,000 requests per hour.
And that would translate to how many users? User sessions, I'm assuming. So.
We are not have the concept of sessions, and we can say each user is one session. I can say 200 users.
I think you said 20,000 requests in an hour. So 200 at any given time, you're saying I think there may be 200 users in the system doing something.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes, correct.
And how long was it live?
You mean?
How long was it in production?
Yeah, it is on. It is on live application only. There is no concept of offline and online.
Yeah, in production use, how long has it been? Months, years?
It's an ERP. It is ongoing process only.
Okay. And So this is you've been working on features and bug fixes development of that product, and that product is in production for how long?
It's 7 years.
It's like over a year. 7
years. Earlier also there, but as part of I know it's 7 years.
Okay, and you were part of how many group of users?
It's almost all developer 7.
And you are the only lead, or were there other leads?
Yeah, other like the technical project manager is there, myself, and internally like 7 members are also there. 2 members are already experienced on the product.
Okay. Do you have any questions for us? So this role is more pretty much active development and collaborating with team. And is there anything else that you need to know?
No, I don't have anything. Even though if it is a lead, he has to come up with some technical knowledge only. Then only we can able to lead the team. But I don't have any questions. But I just want to understand what is exactly the tech stacks, or what is it a project? Is a migration project, or what is? I just want to understand those things from your end.
Yeah, the main project eSign Plus, we are migrating from on-prem to cloud, and we are writing microservices and deploying using Kubernetes, Docker containers, Azure functions. I think Natish can speak to it much better than me, but pretty much new Azure technologies. Currently, the on-prem product uses scheduled task, Windows services, mostly, and SQL backend. We're going to keep the SQL, but it's still a multi-tenant cloud application. So we have to worry about security, scalability, and the database sharding. So we are introducing all those concepts. So we need a team member that can jump in and be productive as soon as possible, right? ASAP, that understands there's no time really to learn new technologies, right? So we need a person that's fully hands-on and understands those technologies and can get us moving fast, implement these new components.
Okay.
So we can go to the cloud. So.
Okay, fine.
That's what the position is.
Yeah.
There's already a team, and most of the team is in India that's working on this project. Natish leading it as an architect.
Okay.
Natish, anything else you want to ask? Otherwise, I think
Yes, we are moving into, we are using AKS also. AKS, I will just tell you the tech stack so that you will be aware. So it will be an AKS and at the SQL server, right? It's a completely elastic pool, keyword storages, file storages, right? And it's a completely microservices architecture. And we have multiple tenants. So based on the multiple tenants, the application has to even scale in that way. And with respect to security and all, right, all tenants will have their own DBs and data isolation, right, encryption, right, all that comes to the picture.
Okay.
Yes, Vidya. Vidya, you're on mute. Do you need? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I have my hands just like
at the beginning.
yeah.
It was No. I think it was a half an hour call, so I wanted to make sure Natish gets the most, but I think I'm good. At this point of time. Yeah.
Thank you, Raman.
Yeah. Thank you all. Thanks for your time.
Thank you all. Yeah.